Hey guys, it's Tejal the Storyteller, and I am here to review Wicked and also share my experience with not only watching the movie but how I can relate to it. I was not gonna do this, but as I was watching it, I was like, dang, this is a story worth sharing. So tune into this video and learn which character I feel like I relate to with the most. And I definitely want to hear who you relate to the most. So drop it in your comments, let me know, and check it out. So first off, if you don't know, Wicked is a movie about two people, Glinda and Elphaba, and their experience like in the magic world and really trying to discover themselves. It's a story of friendship, of community, of society. It's very deep, and if you go beyond the surface, you can really see all of the messages that they're trying to share. First of all, I would watch Wicked. 10 out of 10, highly recommend, not just for the message, but the story and the talent was, oh my gosh, just heavenly. Shout out to Cynthia, Ariana, all of the vocals on Wicked were crazy. I've been listening to the soundtrack since I watched it, and I've watched it twice. I'm reviewing this movie because I just find it so relatable, and I want to share a story about a recent experience that I've had that made it so relatable to me. I think I relate more to the story of friendship, right? Of two friends wanting this one thing and kind of making two different decisions about how to go about it. And I think that's a story that we all can relate to. I'll share which character I relate to the most later. We'll get to that, but I definitely want to hear your thoughts. Who did you relate to the most and why? I feel like I relate to this character the most because we both have the same interactions with people. We both had the same kind of interaction with our power, like wanting it and wanting to grow in it. And I think both characters had that experience. And then I think I relate more to this character because in my friendship that I'm about to tell you guys a story about, I just felt like I could totally understand where this character was coming from. So, again, this story was really about friendship. And I recently had a friendship that I kind of had to step away from just because we just kind of went our separate ways, much like Elphaba and Glinda. And I think a lot of us can relate to this, like growing close with someone and then realizing you guys want to kind of explore the world in your different ways. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think in the movie we see them, Elphaba and Glinda, accept each other for who they are. This is a spoiler alert, so if you haven't seen the movie or you don't like spoilers, do not continue. But in the end, we see Elphaba choose herself and choose what was right and not to conform to society, even when society was so enthralled by her powers and wanted her to use her powers for not so good things, right? And you see Glinda, who wants to do so much good in the world and has had this experience that was not like Elphaba's, who trusts this system, right? And feels like she can make whatever change in the system by like being in the system. So you just have these two very different ideas. And I think like with my friendship, that's what happened. We just have two very different ideas of how to interact with a system that is not for everybody. So I don't know, is my way the way of like being in the system and changing it from the inside, or is it on the outside and just saying like F it all? Who knows? We'll find out. I really see like the parallel in like the misunderstanding of like each other, right? You want so badly to understand why this person is going in this direction. Like Glinda was so confused, like Elphaba, why won't you stay here? The wizard loves you. He thinks you're great. We can both be great together in this system and we can make change from inside. And Elphaba is like, girl, that man just tried to kill us. He's weird. I don't want to hang out with him. Why do you want to hang out with him? And I think that's just so interesting to see that perspectives are just always different and can really cause like a drift and a permanent separation, which really sucks. I know I sound really happy in this video, but I'm actually kind of, well, I'm a lot better than what I was, but I was actually kind of heartbroken with making that decision. Um, and I truly believe like Elphaba and Glinda were heartbroken too when they each made the decisions that they made. I think the moment that sticks out to me that really helped me understand like, oh, I'm really this character was when Galinda was when Elphaba kind of took off and sang her song and like was just like, I'm not doing this. And Galinda was so hurt about Elphaba's decision. And the professor, I can't remember her name, I'm gonna post her picture right here, went to Galinda and was like, I'm so sorry, you know, basically help, like opened her arms for an embrace. And Galinda went to her, but I could understand, you know, just being in a vulnerable space and feeling like your friend has chosen this path that you really necessarily don't disagree with, and having someone there in that moment to comfort you and let you know that everything is going to be okay, no matter how deceptive they are. And I do believe the teacher witch was super deceptive. She didn't show Galinda any love during the whole movie until it was convenient for her. And it just really showed me how people, it reminded me how people will love you and show up for you as long as you're doing things for them and empowering them. And I think that she knew that that was a moment to secure Galinda and make sure that she stayed on the side of the wizard. So Galinda and Elphaba are two very different people, but really the same if you look deep down inside. Earlier I mentioned they both want to master their powers. They both want to be just great people. I think Galinda, even though she can come off like prissy and all these things, she is just a product of the system that has treated her so well. And so I think she is just only able to see it from her perspective because her perspective has been so good for her this whole time. Whereas Elphaba, she has been isolated from day one. You know, her mother had cheated on her father and she was born out of like sexy time, sexy sideline time. Her mom cheated, and so her dad was just always mad at her, and just this identity of isolation and not belonging, especially since she was green. So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like they each had like a really great story arc. They each transformed throughout the movie So before I let you guys know who I think I relate to the most, comment below. Let me know who you guys think to, who you relate to. I know there's more characters than Galinda and Elphaba. The boyfriends, I don't know. I'm not good with names, okay? But like, who did you see? Comment below and make sure you guys like and subscribe. So yeah, I also want you guys to just let me know if you can relate to this friendship story. Have you ever been in a friendship that like you guys kind of grew apart just because of differences in like opinions? I know the election just passed, and so maybe you had differences in like the election and that kind of tore you apart. Just let me know I'm not alone. Like, let me know this stuff happens to everyone, okay? Just say, Tage, this happens to everybody. So, are you guys ready to know which character I relate to the most and why? Okay. So, the character I relate to the most is Elphaba. I hope my green didn't give it away. I definitely wore green today in honor of Elphaba. But yeah, I relate to Elphaba. I feel like A lot of times people want you to conform and just go with the system because it's easier, it feels good, it's faster, it's quicker. And then you become a villain when you decide not to go with the system. And I relate to that all the time, especially in this friendship that I just told y'all about. I feel like there was a drift because I did not want to conform. I just couldn't. And I just can't be in this space anymore. And I feel like that's where Elphaba was. She was like, I could be in this space, I could use my powers to go in this direction, but this is not right. And then I think when we talk about the media world, which is like the world I'm speaking of, if we're talking about parallels, Oz to Elphaba is like the media world to me. You kind of have to sometimes conform to get what you want, and I just don't believe in that on any form. In fact, I am screaming and raging about all of the news that's coming out about just like people that we really look up to, celebrities, household names. And I don't know, to me it's just really hard to ignore anything that's happening solely just so I can fit in or be powerful. I'm going to take my powers and bring the system down from the outside. I can't do it from the inside. So, yeah, guys, I hope this was fun for you. I hope you got something from my story or you can relate. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know, can you relate? And let me know which character you relate to the most. So, did you guys guess that it was going to be Elphaba? Like, let me know.